Debbie, all the way in Johannesburg. It's so lovely to have you with me today.
Thank you for having me. Very excited
Yes.
to be here.
And it makes for quite a nice change that I'm dressed in summer clothes in England and you're in winter clothes in Johannesburg.
Yeah, but jealous of you, to be honest. I'm a summer baby.
I know the feeling. So, Debbie, it's been a long time since we connected in this way, and I
Hmm.
specifically chose you as our coach in the spotlights because I've been following you with absolute admiration and awe in what you've achieved since you did the certification with Kids Life Studio, and that was 2020,
I think 2020.
pandemic time.
Yeah, yeah.
And so much has happened in that time. You've achieved so much, and I just really wanted to spend some time showcasing that. So let's just start there. What took you in 2020 to deciding that's it, I want to become more equipped? Because you were already equipped. You already had a really solid, beautiful background and foundation for working with children, but you decided that's it. I want to make this my career. What was that
Hmm.
turning point for you?
I think it was a personal one. I mean, obviously, as you know, I studied psychology and education, so I was working in that already. Um, but for me, I'd done my own personal life coaching, and it made sense to me that there were these practical tools that I could apply in my life, and also working in I worked in the nonprofit world and private schools, so I kind of had across the board experience of the
You
different
did.
children, and no matter where they were growing up, the message to me was the same thing: was that these kiddies were struggling with tools to, to
Mm.
cope in day-to-day life, and I kind of was like, well. I've learned all these tools at my grand age, and how much cooler would it be to have them little? And then I found you and Kids Like the Studio, and it just made sense for me that this
Yeah.
would be the perfect thing to do to teach these tools from a young age.
Yes. And so that was the start of your journey to creating your founder-led business, which is Conscious Kids Coaching.
Yeah.
Do you want to
Mhm.
tell us a little bit about how you chose that name? Because it's so beautiful. I love that word conscious.
Thank you. I must say I toyed with it for a long time because I didn't want people to think that it was this sort of higher
Woo-woo.
than
I
thou,
know. I
hippie kind
know.
of, yeah. But I think for me, and that's how I start all my sessions with the kiddies, is like being conscious is checking in with yourself on a regular basis so that you know how you're feeling, because if you know how you're feeling, then you know what the world around you is doing. Like
Yes.
if there's something that's triggering you, then you can identify what that is, and if you can identify what that is, then you can work around how to manage it better in your life. So conscious for me is very much being present in understanding me in the world that I live in.
Yes, and in the moment, and also
Yeah,
understanding that being conscious means that sometimes the subconscious part of you is what drives your behavior. And when you make
absolutely.
that connection, that's so powerful for children.
Yeah, no,
Yes.
exactly.
So,
Exactly.
over the past few years, you've been coaching children both in person, in your local community, and also online.
Yes.
What kinds of children have you been supporting? What have you noticed?
I seem to attract kind of the majority of kids that I attract are very much the anxious little girls. I get a lot of sort of
Interesting. Mine
seven,
is
eight,
boys.
really.
Yes, age 9, 10.
Yeah, interesting. Hey,
Yes.
so I'm very much the little anxious girls, and then I get a lot of the tween bitchiness.
Oh,
That's
wow.
a big one that I spend a lot of, and again, that would be your sort of the 9 to 12 age group. I get
Yeah, that's a
grade
tricky
4 in
one.
this country is seems to be a very tricky age.
Yes, yeah, it is. And there's also so many pressures on young people, to
Absolutely.
conform, to fit in. And then, of course, there's the influence of social media. We can't deny the fact that that's changed the landscape of childhood.
Yeah,
So,
hugely so.
so would you consider that your niche then? that area of girls, young girls, or
Definitely. I think, I do get, I think my boys are my little soft spot because I just love boys.
you're a mom of a boy and a girl, aren't you?
I am, yeah,
Yes. So you
I
have to
am.
have both.
And absolutely. But I love boys. I love the way their brains work. I do get a fair amount of boys, but those tend to be the sort of anger management.
Okay. Okay.
Um, but I would say my niche, probably based on that they seem to have found me, would be my tween girls.
Yes. Yeah.
Um,
And do you think it's helped you being a parent and being a coach? Or has it sometimes been hard taking that coach hat off, parent hat off, or do you sometimes wear them at the same time? How does that work for you?
I think, I mean, if you ask my daughter, she'd probably be here rolling her eyes going, my
Well,
mom tries to coach me all the time.
she's a teenager, right?
Yeah, yeah, she is very much so. I think what I have found fascinating is how if I've been struggling in my parenting, how often I'll be confronted with a similar issue in my coaching, which
Wow.
again I think brings you back to being conscious because you've got to level up on
You've got to walk
acknowledging
the
that this
walk
is
and
something
talk the
you
talk.
need.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Whereas when it comes to my kids, I try hard to not coach them unless they've asked for it. And if I do, I try and do it in a very subtle
Well, I think
way.
every single parent is a coach, and rightly so. I mean, every
Mm.
mum is more than a coach. She's the nurse, the psychologist, the doctor.
Yeah.
Mums tend to do a lot of that with their own
Mm.
children. But I don't know if you recall in the training how I said to you that the children that are sent to you as part of your coaching practice will come to you to teach you your biggest lessons. And that we learn from the children we coach, but also as a parent, you learn from your children.
Mm.
And I wonder if there's like you say that the lessons that you've needed have come, but I wonder if that's just you, like you say, actually embodying that consciousness in your experience.
Oh, I think absolutely. But I think again, if we're not practicing what we preach, then those cases can come to us and we won't even notice that they're there. Whereas the fact that we're supposed to be living this stuff is like, if it's triggering me, then it's something I've got to deal with.
That's it. And
Yeah.
that's what a lot of kids' life coaches don't realize. I mean, everybody does this work with good intention, but we are a work in progress. We are constantly growing and learning. And if you don't acknowledge that you're
Yeah.
not perfect as a
Perfect.
coach, you have to be able to grow and learn. And sometimes it's also about like I call it the novice coach because we all started somewhere. I know I came out of the classroom like you. I came from a
Mm.
good solid psychology background, but when I started coaching, that was a different kind of learning. And as a novice coach, I made so many mistakes. I look back and I'm like, oh my goodness, I was
Mm.
bringing my whole self to the sessions, but sometimes I was acting as a mirror in the session
Mm.
and reflecting myself back into the child, which is not a healthy space to be. And I learned that very, very quickly. And I learned it the
Mm.
hard way. So would you say that for people like us who really take this seriously as a career, because you've made a successful career out of this for yourself, do you think it's important for people like us to have regular professional supervision and to make sure we attend our own coaching and our own therapy? How does that look for you?
Absolutely. I think, uh, the first part of all of this is acknowledging that I'm not perfect and I don't know everything. And I think perspective is one of the biggest things. And my perspective is going to get tainted by the life that I'm living. And if I don't have the somebody else checking in on me so that I can bounce off whatever's going on in my world, there's a very strong possibility I'm going to put it into the kids that I work with. And I
Mm.
think it's an absolute essential that we have the space
To reflect on ourselves.
yeah,
Yes, yeah.
and sometimes get rid because I think sometimes it's really hard, some of the cases that come along, and
Yeah.
to carry that stuff is also it's hard. And I think that's a space where we should also be able to debrief and reflect and maybe figure out if I'm doing this the right way or if I need help or to send them somewhere else. Because,
Yes. I mean, kids life coaching has taken on a life of its own. It's a mainstream thing. There's more and more people that are familiar with it now in comparison to when I started in 2003, when you officially
mm,
started in 2020. There's a lot more people, but with that also comes the risk of people diluting the impact of what coaching children actually can do, because when done correctly, it can make
mm,
meaningful, lasting change that's sustainable. But when done, and I don't say incorrect because there's no wrong way, there's just the long way. But when done the long way without having the proper training in place, that's when
mm.
there's that risk of using children as guinea pigs. Is
Yeah,
that the right phrase? Like experimenting
absolutely.
on how we're going to formulate our program. And I think that's what I respect so immensely about you, is that you came with this wealth of wisdom and experience based on your previous career, but yet you still felt it necessary to learn from somebody
Mm,
who's done it before you. And that shows a sign of strength and character. Because I myself, I love to learn. I'm always learning and growing. But
mm.
there's many people who may leave teaching or leave the field of therapy and they want to start a business and they don't really understand the dynamics of that. It's not just about that. It's about how you show up in the world for children to
Yeah,
look at you as a role model. So,
absolutely. And not bringing your own baggage to the room.
yeah, and if you do, like you say, to make sure that you you actually manage to process that.
Yeah.
And like in an ideal world, I would love to wrap children in cotton wool and keep them safe and make sure that they're protected from everything, but that's not realistic.
No.
The world is a tough place. It can be, but it's about setting our RAS, our reticular activating system, to get children to actually see the good in the world and to be the good in the world.
Mm.
That being said, like, what is your view on what it would take to rebrand childhood, to make it a better place for kids?
Zelna, for me, I think it's in a lot of ways, I think it's about educating adults. I
Mm,
think it's important that in a I kind of approach it from the point of view of like I'm not an accountant or a doctor, but and you're very good at what you do in that, whereas I understand how a child's brain works and the way
yeah,
that they are triggered. And I think often adults confuse children with adults and kind of assume that they should know stuff and assume that they should behave in a certain way. And then when they don't, they get reprimanded for it. And I think if we could educate people to go, you got to look at it from a different way. And the only way they're going to learn this stuff is we put into them. And for me, that's a big part of
yes.
of of helping kids because they just my worst is when people say, "Oh, your kid's a teenager," and there's a big eye roll. Like
Mm,
you're
mm.
you're at the worst stage. Whereas I have such a soft spot for teenagers because I think they're just vulnerable little adults trying to figure things out. And I think
Navigate life. Yes.
yeah, and if we could just look at them through the lens of empathy and curiosity, curiosity is my favorite
Oh, I
word.
love that.
Is,
Yes.
if we approach childhood with curiosity, so that we're not, why is my kid, trying to manipulate me, or why is my kid being so rude? If we switch the lens to what's happening in my child's world that they're behaving like this, then suddenly it softens the way that we approach parenting, teaching, whatever it is.
Coaching. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
All
coaching, because they didn't come out on a mission to destroy, And I hate that that's sometimes the assumption that happens when kids are having a hard time is, that there's something wrong with them, and it's not. It's that they're lost and they're looking for somebody to see them.
Oh, I love that. Debbie, that's beautiful. Because we've always said that um, all bad behavior in a child is a sign of an unmet need. And it's up to us
Yeah.
as adults to find out what that need is and meet it. And children will
Mm.
always meet us there. They will always rise to
Oh,
the occasion. But if you
yeah.
lower the bar, they're also going to lower themselves to what it is your expectations are. I think
Mm.
that's what makes coaching so powerful is that we come into the situation. I mean, you mentioned as a mum, it's hard for you to coach your own kids. That's because you're
Mm.
subjective. You've got these layers of memories and experiences and history and beliefs. Whereas when we coach children, other people's children, we have the privilege of doing that. It's, I mean, it's almost like being a secret parent, where we are
I know that.
literally standing in as a second to the parents because parents also have a tough gig.
Yeah.
It's hard because rebranding childhood to me is parents, adults, anybody who's out there, whether they're parents or not, is actually acknowledging that their childhood is what shaped them. But the choices they make now, the conscious choices you're talking about,
Mm.
is what's going to determine how they love, how they live, how they lead. And that's the important part about rebranding childhood. It is about a whole family approach to me. And you
Mm.
said, the parent is so important, the adults are important, but it's also about us acknowledging that the children in our lives, whether as a coach or as a parent, have come to share their wisdom with us. And they're born
Mm.
that intuitive resilience, that ability to do good and be good in the world. It's up to us to be that lighthouse, to show them the way. So if you had to wave a magic wand and
Mm.
overnight something magical happened, and tomorrow you woke up and the world was a different place for children, what would it look like? Oh,
Oof.
that's a big one.
I mean, how far can I go? For me, I'd like to blow up the education system and don't tell anyone
Oh,
that. But
oh, I'm having
I think,
goosebumps. Yes.
yeah, if we could, if the education system looked more like real life, where
Mm.
kids are being, given a space to learn all of this stuff from dots, I think that would be my dream. Is
Oh, yes. Well, it's
yeah,
happening slowly but surely. Both of us started in the classroom. Yeah.
yes.
And we're doing this work, and there are many teachers in the system still who are pushing back.
Mm,
One thing I have noticed is a really beautiful organic shift towards more mindfulness within schools, towards more emotionally regulated teachers, not just children, because it's not only about the children being regulated, the teachers themselves have to. So I meet you on that because my dream has always been to actually influence the influencers. So I believe that in university, and I've said this many times before, but in university, when young people are training to be teachers and they're going to enter into the education system that is going to box them and tell them how to do
mm,
things and
mm.
not tell them why they have to do things like that. I think it's important at that university degree level to include in the curriculum, and I hope someone's listening that can help us do
And
this.
me too, loudly.
Yeah, I'm hoping, that the curriculum is going to shift and have modules in there that address this about us
Mm,
showing up as good adults.
mm.
Because I know as a young teacher, I was always one of those that used to shake heads for the older teachers because I was always questioning. And I don't know where that came from. I think it was my own inherent need
Curiosity.
for curiosity, but also creating safety for the children in my classroom.
Yeah.
And that's really education is all about us taking what we learn and still managing to find the courage, like you, to question the system and to make the changes. So we can't wave the
Mm,
magic wand, but I know that you and I and a myriad of our global network of coaches around the world are doing this to shift things.
mm.
Because it doesn't start with one big thing. It starts with the small micro actions that we do every day. So, oh my goodness,
Mm.
you've made me so excited. I think we can have a whole other interview just on that.
Yeah. Yeah, I could go for days about
For
that.
days. Okay, so last question.
Mm.
What message do you have for children? The one thing that you think they should know?
The one thing that they should know
And I'm not
is,
just talking the children you coach, the
yeah,
parents with their inner child too. What's the one thing?
I think it would be that if we can recognize how our brain works, and make friends with it,
Yes.
that they have all the tools that they need inside them to be equipped to take on whatever they want to.
Oh, love it. And that's so true. It's
It
so
is.
true. We have
Yeah,
everything within us. When I was, I don't know if you know that I was at Oxford actually, but
I do.
oh,
I
you
follow
do.
you as well.
Oh, you follow me as well. Well, when I was at Oxford, I refined my intuitive resilience theory, which speaks into that. It speaks about the fact that we are all equipped 100% with everything we
Mm,
need within us. And sometimes looking towards others to tell us how to do things or to heal us or to fix us is the very problem that holds us back and sets our RAS to finding more problems, which is why play-based coaching, which is what we use, is
mm.
such a beautiful way to get children to do what they intuitively do. Children
Yeah.
play by default, and they know that play is what recalibrates their nervous system. And so using that as part of our coaching is incredibly powerful.
Mm.
Debbie, talking to you, I realize now that as coaches, the consciousness that you speak about, the conscious kids, that is something that we all need to really embody in our day-to-day work. So I hope that any coaches actually listening to this actually realize that it is important for us to be conscious in how we show up and in what we
Absolutely.
do, and to really take this responsibly, because this profession, even though I suppose it's 2 decades old because I've been doing it for that long and you've been doing it for a fair amount of time, it's still unregulated. And we have to
Yeah.
regulate ourselves. We have to hold
Mm.
ourselves accountable. We have to put our own safeguarding measures in place. We have to make sure that we do what's best for the children who we're so privileged to work with.
Yes, and it is a privilege, and I think that's really
Absolutely.
key to remember. It's you're holding them in your hands.
Yeah.
You don't want to bring your own stuff into their world.
And so often that I see that happen specifically because I mean I've mentored and supervised coaches around the world now, and so I've seen this time and time again. Everybody comes with good heart and good intention, but when we attach a label to ourselves, sometimes we look for that label in the children we coach.
Yeah, agreed.
And that's the danger we have in coaching. It's not that
Mm.
people are doing wrong, it's the fact that they feel the need to attach labels to themselves and each other. And
Yeah,
that's the dangerous part about coaching children. We don't need to be doing that. There's no
no.
label that needs to be describing behavior. The labels are there to help guide us in how we support children, but they're not
Mm.
necessarily necessary. But that also
No,
is a whole other
it is. But I
conversation.
mean, funny. I mean, just I'll just drop it in for if somebody is listening. But I think one of the best activities I did in that was reading Debbie Ford's The Dark Side of the Light Chasers. Have you read that?
No, I need to write that down.
Do that because it literally speaks to all the things
Got it.
that could trigger you that are, characteristics, and then being able to look it in the eyes and acknowledge that it exists in order to move through it. And that was very eye-opening for me. I highly recommend that book.
Oh, I'm going to go and read that. I'm just
Yeah.
finishing off my book at the moment, Secrets Whispered Out Loud. It sounds
Oh,
like it could be something similar because it speaks about the fact that we as coaches are responsible for our own. I don't call it healing because I don't think we need to heal. That also is a controversial viewpoint, but our own transformation and our integration into the true version of ourselves
mm,
necessary to be able to coach children impactfully, not with
mm,
the mask on, not showing the world what we think they should see, but actually showing up as a real version of ourselves so that children can follow in our footsteps. Is that what the
mm.
book's about?
It's so I mean, yes and no, because well, yes, but it's very much sort of acknowledging that we've got dark sides of us and we've
You,
got light sides of us.
yeah.
And if you push the dark sides away, then they'll come back at you. Whereas whereas if we acknowledge that it exists, then it doesn't have to be dark anymore, you know,
It
because we
reminds
all,
me of, is it the Japanese art form? What's it called? Where they fix pottery and they put gold in the cracks. What is it?
yes,
I've got it here. Is it kintsugi? Yeah, I've got a vase here. Kintsugi,
yes,
where
I
um
love that as
you
well.
repair those cracks and the gold is what shines through. We are the dark side, the light side. We are the
Yeah.
humans we bring to the table, and
Mm.
children will be exactly the same. So I
Yeah.
really believe that there's no need to blame, shame, name. We can just live and live
Mm.
with good intentions. I mean, yesterday something interesting happened. I was at an event and there was a little boy that just out of his own helped somebody, and his mum was standing next to me, and my husband said, wow, your boy, you should be so proud of him, he just did that. She says, oh, he's got a very good inner moral compass. And I thought to myself, and I said to her, oh, I wonder where he gets that from. And she said, oh, I think me. I said, absolutely you. Children
Mm.
get their inner moral compass from the adults that they watch. And because we have this plethora of lost souls on social media, influencing our young children as role models, it's important for us to anchor them, for
Mm.
parents to have people like us as part of their village, that village to raise their child with that good inner moral compass. Because kids do know what the right thing is to do. They
Of
do.
course they do. I mean, they're not, like I said earlier, they're not born evil,
No,
bad.
no.
They're born innately good,
I'm telling you.
curious humans, and
We
life
need a
happens.
few more cups of tea to finish this conversation. But I
Yeah.
think, Debbie, it's been an absolute wonderful opportunity to speak with you after
Oh,
all
thank
these
you.
years and to still see you succeeding so beautifully in this space and making an impact in South Africa, being interviewed
Thank
on
you.
radio and, doing
Yeah.
your thing. And that's what it is. It's about each one of us as coaches finding what makes our hearts sing and
Mm.
waking up every day and taking one step closer towards making that a reality, not just for ourselves because you've
Mm.
still got so much more to achieve, but also for the children that we coach, because our success is dependent on the success of the children we coach.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So thank you. Thank you so much for
Thank
sharing time
you.
with me and for all your wisdom. And I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I
Can't wait
enjoy
to
it.
hear when your book comes out.
Pardon?
Can't wait to hear when your book comes out.
Mm. Funny you should say that. It is in the
Oh,
back of my head.
we should speak about that.
Yeah.
All right, Debbie, you take good care of yourself and thank you once again for your time today.
Thank you so much, Zelna. It was lovely to chat with you.
Thank you.